Hello, good morning. My name is Juan Carlos Ramirez, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to make a business plan for your project. And I meant it because you often find yourself or with your friends trying to make up some ways to invest wisely your resources or your time. But it gets difficult because you often do not have like a method to make it from like now to the place you want to be, and therefore it isn't easy to break it into pieces so you can work on it in a more fluent way. Also, having a business plan could be really useful for you in the way it makes it easier to communicate your idea with people that might be interested, being them like clients, but also people that could invest on your project, so you could think on it in a bigger way and not being like limited by your own resources. Okay, now having that in mind, what we're going to do is that I'm going to show you a presentation I did back in 2019 of a business plan for Calados Patinetas. The idea is that I'm going to go through each slide of this presentation and I'll explain in a general way each of the topics talked in it. So you can make like a general idea of what it is expected, and you can see an applied example of what we are talking about. Before we jump on the presentations, I'm going to give you a general idea of the index of what we're going to talk about. So, first, we're talking about the idea of the business. Second, we're talking about its market. Third, basic engineering of the processes you're going to do. Fourth, we're talking about the size and location of your business. Fifth, we're talking about social and environmental impact of your project. And finally, we're talking about strategic and financial analysis of your project. These six topics or steps are going to give you a general idea whether your project is viable or not. Okay, first we have a basic description of our business. So firstly we need an idea. We have to have clear the set of products or services we're trying to sell, which is the objective of our project, what do we want to achieve, and why we're doing it, really. And finally, but most important, is you have to have clear which values you have. Because depending on your values, you will determine a goal, a vision. And having a vision, you can set your mission, which would be how are you going to achieve what you want. So, backing it up, the most important thing on this is having a clear idea of what you want, having clear why you're doing it, and which values you have. Okay. So, second, we're talking about market. This one is one of the biggest topics we're talking about today because it's also one of the most important. So, firstly, we're talking about our clients. It is important that you know who these people are. What are they interested for? Why do they like it? How do they find what they like? Which trends are going on today, etc. To have a major idea of it, it works to break it into pieces, right? So first you're focusing on the product, how the product is, how it fits the requirements of your client, where do you find it, and at which price. So well, you can think about it a lot, and we'll go on. We'll have later two really important topics, and are how do you get that product, which is good, it's known to your subject, right? So you have to think on where are you going to sell it and how people are going to know your product. So you have to think of it, like make some strategies that work for it. It also works in this analysis we're talking about to understand your global and local context on your market, right? So what we can see here are some historical data and some projections made with it, and we can see here some results of some analysis I did in social media to understand the size of the niche we're talking here, right? It also works to understand the market, to make some surveys so you can categorize your clients in different ways. And finally, we have an analysis of the data we have recovered. We must make an intelligent analysis so we can understand how our products can fit on the needs of our clients. So what we can see here is just an example of one of the results I had on the time. Okay, due to the time we have left, I think we won't be able to continue talking about the planned topics. So I'll skip it to the conclusions of what we have talked until now. So firstly, I think that understanding which goals you have and which values you have is one of the most important things on a project, so you can have a clear path of success. Secondly, I think it is very important to understand your market, being it in a qualitative or a quantitative way. This will allow you to supply your clients' needs in a really efficient way, and also will make it easier to understand where or how you can reach your audience more properly. I think that's it. Thank you for your time and for listening.